Well, and Rod, I'm with you. I look at that as that's the world going around. You know,
Right.
it. That's the way I look at it. I just when you come to my house, you just can't move. You got one room you can go in, and if you got to use the bathroom, I'm gonna give you a cup, and you go in the closet because you can't move. You can't move around the house because I know already know. Your
So,
I
fingers,
got family
you
members
got
that
gorilla
can't
glue
come to
for
my house.
fingers. I don't need you walking around the
I got
house.
family members that can't come. They not coming in my house.
Hey, I got that too.
we all got them.
Mm.
You know, but
But yeah, that part that's just the world going around. You just hey look, you can't come to my house, Junior. But that's your cousin. I don't care. I can love him from a distance.
yeah,
So Bill, is that just the world going around? Now you say you in conversation like that, what, 2-3 times a week? Is it just the world going around, or is it just the parents are too engaged? Well, if you got a 2-parent home,
Well,
both of them too engaged in other stuff, or
well, I think a part of it is one of the most powerful things that Bobby said is that we conflate wealth with material things, money, and that in and of itself is not wealth. And so Bobby gave us a very powerful answer
yeah,
to part of the problem is that we conflate wealth with money and material things and wealth, and that doesn't necessarily constitute wealth. That's part
right.
of the problem. Uh, the other problem is what are we really saying to our young people, our children? Uh, uh, what kind of lessons do we teach them? Uh, uh, often I'll just give you one of the thoughts that I shared with my siblings. I had 4 brothers. I said, we look at schools and the Boy Scouts and church as socializing mechanisms. But the primary place that children are socialized is in the home.
Mhm.
The other places reinforce what the kids learn at home. So the Boy Scouts reinforce what my father taught me, my father and mother taught me. The church reinforces what my father and mother taught me. The schools reinforce what my father and mother taught me. And we overlook that. I got relatives. I'm mad. My kids didn't learn and haven't been taught in school. And I just asked a simple question. What did you teach them at home? Well, I ain't got time for that. They're dumb. That was
That's it.
what I got. I ain't got time for that. My kids are too dumb. So I send them off to school to learn. Well, if you call them dumb at home, what is Bobby Jones going to call them when they sit in Bobby Jones class?
It's I had to laugh because this everything we're talking about right now. These are the lessons that I got going on in school right now. And one of the questions on one of the lessons that I had was about, like I talked about, wealth. The other one was about um should manners should good manners be taught in school? No, good manners should be re
Re-
reinforced.
Reinforce.
reinforced in school.
Right.
That should come from home.
Yeah.
Thank you and please and yes sir and no sir. That should come from home. I should not have to teach that in the classroom. You know what I mean? Like I get kids come to me like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" I don't know. Can you? And they be like, "Well, can I go?" I said, "I don't know." Well, they're not getting that I'm saying to you, "May I go to the bathroom?" I don't know if you can use the bathroom. I don't know if your parents ever taught you how to use a bathroom. So when you ask me, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. It's a simple thing like that. but the kids, they pick up on it because when they ask me, "Oh, Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, may I go to the bathroom?" Yes, you may.
Yeah.
But if you asking me, can you go? Damn it, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know what you were taught.
Right.
Good point.
Uh,
Did,
I
Part
don't
of
know,
that
man.
is a lot of younger
did I answer your
women without
question,
daddies having
Chester?
babies. So, you get a 16-year-old girl and she living with a mother and she got a baby, and then the kid that got her pregnant is 16 years old or 17 years old. You know, it's that's where a lot of us start at. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you know,
oh yeah.
Well, did I answer your question, Chester?
Well, yeah, you did, but
What means I didn't?
I think about when I came up, as a kid. Um, this guy, one older guy, told me one time, old head, not to use the term broken home, but I come from a, you know, I guess single parent. My mom and dad split. My mom moved to the city in Baltimore, and young, fine woman, and she's still trying to navigate, having a man in her life and that kind of stuff. So yeah, me and my two sisters, I will say we were neglected in that term. Because those men that were coming in and out of the house, they weren't interested in us, the kids. I did have some grandparents that, well, called them grandparents that lived not too far away, but man, shit, they didn't have, that time to spend with us three kids.
Mhm.
So I was in the damn streets and all of that. But when I moved back south with some other relatives, when we got into the church, I think if it wasn't for the church, I don't know where my ass would be. So Bill, how much is I mean, I think you mentioned, the Boy Scouts, the church. I think a lot of people have gotten away from the church and what the church offers, as I guess when people come in to commune or whatever. I think that's where we lost a lot of it because as far as what I see and what I think, people don't go to church like like we used to back in the day.
But that's a very good point, Chester.
Mm.
When you shared that, I thought about in Montevideo, Uruguay. I saw one of the most beautiful cathedrals I'd ever seen in my life. And on Sunday, it was empty because
Mm.
in Uruguay, nobody went to church. Uh, but for the African American community, church was the only place where you could come together as a community.
Mm.
So that became a unifying place, a place where we could keep our culture alive, keep our spirits from being destroyed. Uh, and I would say we probably need that again. But and the real question, this is one of the questions we should ask. Uh, what made us think that the reinforcing institution of a church is no longer important? And the other question we need to ask is, how do we socialize and teach our culture to kids who have to kids who are left by the wayside? My oldest brother told me that, and I see what he does in Washington, D.C. He owns a house, but he moved into an apartment, and he has the kids doing things, taking them out and Christmas model trains. He sets up model trains for the kids to run around, and I'm envious of him. And I asked him once, why did he do it? And he said, because it needs to be done. So, so when we look at things, just me, and you have to understand, I'm not a very religious person.
Mhm.
But what does a good shepherd do? He doesn't stay with all the sheep that he has already in place.
Right.
He goes out and gets the lost one and
Right.
brings the lost one home. And we've forgotten that in our community. I saw that in North Carolina when I worked on a tobacco farm. I never forget it because the guy, Mama Alice, brought in Lester. Lester had been to jail, but Mama Alice brought him on that farm and gave him work so he could make money and rebuild his life. And he said something that I never forgot. My children know it too. You want me to be the fool and the mule too. I'm not going to be the fool and the mule too.
Mm.
Came from Lester down in Milton, North Carolina, who Mama Alice brought on her farm to give him work and give him love and show him where he could live after he got out of jail. We don't do that kind of stuff. We don't go and look for those who need help. Uh, and that's one of the problems with Holland. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I think too, also, and it happened more in, let's say, late 70s, early 80s, even still happening now, where a lot of blacks, once they get successful, they leave their neighborhoods. They get a newer house, they out in the suburbs, might get a house built from the ground or house that's 10 years old because they want their kids to get a little better education. And these are the community leaders that's not there anymore. I mean, these are the examples that, they're not there anymore. So when you got the kids that's single mom, used to be guys around the neighborhood that would just try to keep them in line a little bit. A lot of those guys are gone, and and I guess I'm a product of that because I'm out in the suburbs now. I lived in Baltimore City up until about I was 34, 35 maybe. And it was time for me to send my kids to school. So I have twins. They're adults now. But at the time, I'm thinking, okay, do I want to send my kids to the city schools where, they don't have the computers, they don't have the best teachers, they don't have the best this, that, and the other? Well, I did like a lot of the other families did. I sold my home, moved to the suburbs to give my kids what I thought was a better education. So I'm guilty of that, and I'll sit here and admit it. But that's what happened. So a guy like me, a police officer, a role model, somebody that would connect to the community, then all of a sudden, instead of living in a pretty much all black neighborhood, which I was living in, I moved into a mixed community, and it was probably more white than mixed. So and when I went to schools, I didn't have a white student in my class the whole time I went to school, from elementary to middle school to high school. But I guess I was thinking, well, I'm gonna make things a little bit easier and better for my children, and they got a good education. They went to college, but but it's guys like me, and I'm, you know, criticizing my own self. You leave your neighborhoods because you don't want your kids to be around the crime.
Yeah.
Even when I
I
lived in
understand that.
Baltimore, when I was a city cop, I happened to come out, me and my wife, one day. At the time I was still married. I see a car that was sitting in front of my house before I went to bed. The car was still out there the next morning. I go over there and look in the car. This
Dead
dude
man.
dead. He was shot in the head.
Mm.
I called 911, and and they came out, and I had to give statements. Oh man, they finally caught the guy that did it. I had to go to court. And when I went to court, I told him straight up, I said, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Well, I found this guy's body at he was a drug dealer that got killed in the car across the street from my house. I ain't telling my address because I don't want these guys and nobody coming back looking for my family, and I'm not at home. And neighbors moved after that, because we thought we was in a nice, quiet neighborhood, and until it wasn't a nice, quiet neighborhood, you know. So what I'm just talking about, yeah, I'm guilty of it too. A lot of guys, and I know as soon as they get a nice job, they start getting a family, they looking around and seeing crime. Well, I don't want to deal with this anymore. The schools aren't the best. All right, we out of here, and it happens every day. And I don't know if we can ever fix that, but that's what's happened. And that's what has happened the past 30, 40 years.
Don't feel like the Lone Ranger on that, bro.
Yeah.
I just heard on the news today that a woman was shot and a 2-year-old baby was found right in the neighborhood I grew up. I looked and saw the names of the street. I said, man, that's less than 50 yards from where I lived. This happened,
Yeah.
where I grew up.
Yeah.
But what you say is true. And my father warned me about that. My father was a school teacher who believed that you should live in the neighborhood where you taught. And I asked him one day, while all the other teachers had left, but we still lived on Irving Street, and he still walked to school every day. And he told me, he said, son, he said, a neighborhood has to have leaders like farmers have to have their crops fertilized. If you don't fertilize the soil, it becomes crop bad, and you can't produce anything. Farmer can't produce it. I stay here because we need leaders. And if we don't have leaders here to fertilize the soil, nothing will grow in the neighborhood.
Oh man.
Mm.
And you know,
And I never forgot that my father, because I had friends who used to live in the neighborhood, a former chief of the fire department, a former police chief. And you know what they say? They say if just 10,000 of us stayed in DC, the neighborhood we grew up in, it wouldn't be like it is.
mhm.
But we did what you said. I got to have a good school district. I got to have, man, I came back to Washington and I was thinking about buying a house in the city, and my wife almost left me. Uh, she said no. And the brother told me if I bought a house and had a king size bed, I better have a gun in each nightstand. Because
Mm.
when I go to the bathroom, have a gun behind the water closet.
Mm.
Mm.
He said them brothers was rugged.
I don't know, man. Last time I've been to DC, it's unaffordable, man. You got all them white folks that move back down there. I done went to the Nationals Park where the baseball team is. You can't buy a house down there. Them houses $1 million.
Yep.
Across the river, to Congress Heights in Southeast. Now
Mm.
that's a danger zone, brother.
When Chester,
Hey,
I'm listening to you about the church thing. I think, or I feel that that has also been a fruit of the poison tree. It's become because so many people that are involved in that now, it's going back to that thing. It's about money. It's not about it's not about bringing the community together anymore and helping the community. You know, growing up, I remember the church selling dinners, you know, all week long, or you know, having meals for the community, or you know, whatever. That stuff is no more. It's all about what I can get in my pocket, and that's why I continue cuss jokers out like TD Jakes and all of them, because it's all about money. It's not about the community as much as it used to be. Unless you go down south somewhere in a deep part of the woods where you got a small church with a tin roof.
Old country preacher.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that you're not going to get that. He's
Right.
not in there for the money,
Right.
because when he leave there, he might have to go do some farming when he finished preaching.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He might have to go fix a couple cars so he can make a couple of dollars when he finished preaching.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, my
Yeah, you right.
saying is they're not praying for us, they're praying on us.
And
And
Hmm.
we
and
got
and
some other
and
niggas
and
doing it,
and,
bro.
and Rodney, I'm with you on that, and that's why I feel like I feel about it. And I definitely understand what you're saying, Chester, because that was, like you said, that was something that brought the community together.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, to see the preacher uh live in your neighborhood, you could talk to him any time of the day. Now, your grandmama or mama gets sick, they come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now they send a representative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna send Deacon Johnson over there to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But Deacon Johnson ain't the one I put the money in the tray for on Sunday.
Right.
Right? I
Yeah.
put the money in the tray for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's that's where it is. And the other part with Rodney and the Colonel talking about uh being in the community, and I tell the kids this in school. I'm not here because I have to be. I'm here because I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I tell
Right.
them that all the time. Because I want them to know I'm not here for me. I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to give you whatever I can give you.
Yeah.
And if it's not in the classroom, I want to be able to give you something to carry out in the world later on.
Mm-hmm.
A memory, a thought about somebody, about how you going to live your life, how you going to go forward with your life. Like I told all the kids, I was like, listen, everybody in here that's going to college, please take a speech class. I don't care what else you do. Take a class in speech. And I said, because you're going to talk to people the rest of your life, but you got to know how to present yourself to people. And that's the thing. It's about presentation. It's not about, because you could say out your mouth, people will believe you if you look good saying it.
Right.
So,
But if you
Bobby,
don't look good saying it, they're not gonna believe a thing you gotta say.
They will sell it.
so Bobby, what I hear you saying is the day of the chitlin stretch is over.
I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying it's compromised.
Mm. Mm. Did y'all see the brother that killed all his whole
Yeah,
family,
killed
man?
his
Yeah, I'm glad
kids.
somebody brought that up, man, because that's what I was going to end my thing on.
Yeah. Well, you hold on to that, man. You can still end it, but I mean, that's crazy, man. What the hell's going on?
Can't feed them, man. Hey, listen,
Huh?
man. Listen, man. 31, 31. The brother ain't had no man. He ain't had no business with that many kids anyway.
You're right.
8 kids. 8 kids.
How do
She's
you
about
kill
to
your own?
divorce him, wasn't she?
How do you kill your own family? How do you kill your children's mother, your girlfriend? I mean, what kind of hate or mental illness or whatever you got to do to get to that point? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, and I guess I never will.
No.
That's called mental illness.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Doc,
yeah.
that's
Some parts
definitely,
it is, but
There's
it's some hate out there too. It's just
yeah,
people that's. I mean, they got to be evil. I
there's
mean,
a
you
lot of
don't.
there's a lot of
I
people on
mean,
the edge.
any
yeah.
kind of person that has some kind of empathy, love, sincerity, love yourself, love your parents. How can you do that to your own kids? I mean, that's who you want to carry on your legacy.
But that's self hate. So I don't want anything representing me anymore because I hate myself that much.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I agree with you, Doc. That's definitely some illness there.
No.
Mm.
It's bad enough when you have a family and you do it to yourself,
Right.
right? That's a illness with selfishness also. But
Right.
then when you
That's like here in Virginia, our former lieutenant governor
oh yeah,
killed his wife and killed himself with
Yeah, I
with
Mm-hmm.
his
just
two teenage kids in the house.
yep.
One of the kids was the one that called 911.
yeah, I just heard that
That's
too.
called
And,
mental
and,
illness, man.
and somebody like that
These
have
are
no
professional
reason.
people. He was a lawyer, she was a dentist.
Somebody like that have no reason. I mean, I guess he was looking at it financially. All right, she gonna break me, I'm gonna break her. I don't know. I have no idea. But I've been through a divorce. It's not easy, but I never got to that point. I never even thought of being to that point. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
mean, that's one of the things that happen in life. You move on.
Listen, man,
I believe everybody has a breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And you just pray to God that you never get to your breaking point.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you're going to do something irrational that you can't take back.
Right.
I've seen and been through a lot of shit, but I've never reached a breaking point where I would do that. You
Yeah.
have to love yourself.
A lot of people aren't well grounded in their life. So if you don't have other things to ground you, to hold you and keep you more to life, then that's what happens. And so, you know, you can get an education, you have a good job and all of that, but if you don't have the basic fundamentals, kind of what we talked about with the church in the past, if you don't have those basic fundamentals that ground you and keep you rooted, then there'll be some things in life that will uproot you.
I was listening to y'all talk about the church. Don't try not to stereotype the churches, because not all churches are like that. I'll put a church in the app for y'all in the chat. You talk about a preacher that goes out and goes and sees the congregation when they're sick, when they're in need. I got one.
Right.
You talk about a church that we adopted a community, a low income community, and we do a lot of things in that community. Every Tuesday and Thursday we take meals to people in that community, and we don't ask nothing from them.
I don't stereotype it. I'm just,
We don't.
you know, it's
We
just
don't
that
take up.
there
We don't
are a
take up
few that's
special
out there.
offerings in our church.
Yes, a few.
We count.
Yeah.
We count on the people to give their tithes and their offering, and that's what takes care of what we do in the community.
And that's where it's supposed to be.
But I know there is a lot of churches out there that the pastors are that point blank they're no good.
Right.
You know.
And it gives the other churches a bad name.
To me, the question becomes, as a pastor, do you blend in with your community, or do you want to be one of them guys? I'm wearing a new suit every week. I'm driving me a Bentley. You know, I'm living out in the burbs. You know, and I drive in the hood to get my money, but then I'm going back out there. You know, or do you actually, you know, all right, I'm living around the corner from my church. You know, I'm not no richer than the people that's coming to my church. So, you know, and those are the people, the pastors with a lot of, you know, creds, authenticity, or however you want to call it. Because, you know, you can turn on the TV on Sunday, you know, flick the remote, and you'll see something out there, you know, and, you know, you're wondering, what are they doing here, you know? Because everybody out there, these people, you know, giving what little they got, and these dudes standing up there, you know, custom made suits, and, you know, and it gives the ones that's doing the right thing a bad reputation. It's like a bad police. Once one bad apple spoils for everything for everybody else. You know, everybody get that you know, reputation because one guy is a bad cop stealing money from drug dealers, or, you know, taking bribes or selling drugs on the side. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doc, did you get the idea that we were condemning churches?
No, not that we're condemning churches, but Bobby made a statement of how I got the feeling he was saying that most pastors or most churches are not for the people. And I don't agree with that. You know, are there some bad churches? Yes, just like there are bad everything.
Yeah.
But there's
Bad
a whole
police.
lot of good churches out there.
Yeah.
And I'll brag on my church any day of the week. Of all the things, the good things that we do, and we don't ask anybody for anything to do it. I got a pastor that when he preaches on Sunday, he don't wear a suit. You know why he quit wearing a suit? Because he didn't want anybody to feel that the only way they could come to church is had to be dressed to the nine.
Right.
He usually wears a shirt and slacks, some sneakers. And most of the people in the congregation dress like that. Or you can dress in a suit if you want. But the reason he doesn't do it is because he doesn't want somebody to feel that they can't come to church if they don't have a suit.
Right, that makes sense.
But it's important. It's important what you said. I think we were talking about institutions that reinforce things that are taught in the home. And that Chester was saying, what do we do for folks who don't get that in the home?
Mhm.
And we recognize that church was one of the places they could get stuff that they didn't get in the home. And there, I guess at the boys' club that you have concerned people at the boys' club, like the Baltimore man, uh, what's his name, who trains Javante Davis. You know who I'm talking about, Rod, over there in Baltimore.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. They got a boxing club over in East Baltimore.
Yeah, and they had one in Glenard, Maryland, that brought up Sugar Ray Leonard. Uh, uh, so you have people that have influenced other people who reinforce things, and I think that was generally what we were talking about in the community, is that the church being one of the reinforcing institutions, and one of the institutions that help those that don't get stuff at home.
Yeah.
And then in
You
some
know,
communities, let me just finish. In some communities, you have an old elder, uh, like Bobby Jones, who is willing to share the wisdom that he's gained from life with young people, or like elder like Chester, who's willing to work with young people, or one of the fellows that we had that passed away,
Joe.
Joe, who was working with
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Boy Scouts. So you, we were just trying to find out reinforcing institutions for home training and those that provide home training or socialization rather for those of us who don't get it in the home. And that we have to be concerned, just like you're concerned about the lost lamb, the lamb that's out there. And that's one of the things we talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I brought that up because I'm kind of a heathen. And I'm complete.
Ain't none of us perfect.
Where you excuse me, where you live, Gunn?
I live in Suffolk, Virginia.
Who?
Suffolk, Virginia.
Suffolk, Virginia.
Southern Virginia.
What's the population?
Population of Suffolk?
Yeah.
Ooh. I have no idea.
Roughly.
It's one of the larger cities in Southern Virginia. I would say probably man, because it's a lot of farmland. So I would say maybe 100,000 people.
It's
okay.
Chester, it's you go down Route 13, and it's on the edge of the Dismal Swamp.
Okay, I've been through. That's where I go to Virginia Beach. Okay,
where I live is about
to the
20
left,
miles from
to the
Virginia
left.
Beach.
I think if I'm going that way, Suffolk. So
yeah, you know where it's across the river from Newport News and Hampton.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's Fred Cherry's hometown.
Okay.
Colonel Fred Cherry, who was the longest serving POW, African American POW in Vietnam, comes from Suffolk, Virginia.
So what's going on with the black community there, Suffolk? What's the crime? What's crime like, man?
Suffolk itself, it's not a lot of crime. I mean, there's crime, but there's not a lot of crime. I wouldn't put it in the same boat as Newport News or Virginia Beach or Hampton, because Suffolk is a lot of rural area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the young people there, I mean, is it a lot of stuff you hear that goes on with the
well, the young people wilding out in Suffolk just like they wilding out everywhere else. Yeah.
So
they need direction. You know, like I mentioned once before, there's a lot of single parent homes, a lot of kids raising kids. No foundation like we got when we were growing up.
You have a local news for Suffolk?
Pardon?
Do you have a local news for that area, for Suffolk?
No.
Okay. So do you hear about the crime that goes on in Suffolk? And do you think when they report the crime, are they reporting it fairly? Because my question is, like where I live in, excuse me, here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the crime, the black folks, and I hate to just keep putting them up on this pedestal. Well, it's not a pedestal, but put them in the light. Every time something goes on, just like, I mean, every weekend, you can count on these young black kids. And it's not all of them. I mean, it's just a certain group, I guess. But man, they just got to show their ass. Last weekend, they at this little popular what they call the main event, where the kids can go there and bowl, and they got the trampolines, they got the, well, I don't know if they pinball machines anymore and all of that. They even got a food court and all this. A bunch of black kids jumped on this one white kid and beat him up for whatever the hell the reason was. But these black kids, man, I mean, and I never see it from the white community or the Hispanic community or the Asian, you know, communities. So I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on with our black kids. I mean, I probably ask that question every time I meet with you guys, man, just to see what you feeling out there.
Bobby probably sees it more than the rest of us since he's in the classroom, but I think kids are just angry.
Why? What's making them angry? That's what I'm saying.
It's
Why is it not?
definitely
Why are our kids so damn angry?
it's it is a little bit of anger, but the biggest part of it is what we've been talking about this whole time is that foundation. They're not getting that foundation at home. We talked about the two parents having to work and all of that. Well, think about this, and this is how it is today in school. The seven of us that's on here, if we got a call home from the principal or a teacher or anybody of any stat, it could be the damn custodian. They call home and say that we did something in school. What's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to talk about it.
It's
We
gonna be
already know
handled.
what's gonna happen, right?
It's gonna be handled.
So now here it is. You do that today. I was just talking to I showed Chester. I had to I had a teacher appreciation thing with a young lady that
I
I
was, I was going
haven't.
to tell you to mention that before we hung up, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm talking to another teacher and we're talking about another kid. I had the kid uh last marking period. She's like the worst. Cuss she cussed teachers out, everything. She never cussed me out because I told her, I'm not your mother nor your father. I don't care how you talk to other people. You gonna respect me. So she didn't really say anything to me because I cut it off early. So I'm talking to a white teacher and he's telling me how uh the mother she went home and told her mother something because she got a grade that he gave her, not that she earned, he gave her. And the mother called him all kind of races, and you doing that because she's black and this, that, and the other. This is the problem with the school that I'm in, where the parents, it's automatically the teacher's fault. It's automatically the principal's fault. It's automatically anybody's fault but the kid. Right. And that's the biggest problem. And that's why these kids are doing the things, because there's no repercussion. When you did something, there was a repercussion. There's no repercussion with these kids. And that is the problem. So they go out and do whatever they want to do because they know that mom and dad gonna still go buy them $250 shoes or them $200 jeans that they want so they can walk the classroom, walk the hallways of the school and look good. I talk to kids every day about cussing in class. So I had a white kid cuss in class And I said, yo, one more time, and I'm calling you. I'm gonna have to send a note home to. He let all the kids leave the classroom. He said, Mrs. Jones, it'll never happen again. I'm sorry. That's what the white kid did. The black kids don't even think about it. And I ask them all the time, do you talk like this in front of your parents? What difference does that make? Because I want the same treatment you give your parents. If you cuss at your parents, you cuss around your parents, I got nothing to say. But if you don't, then why you do it around me? But that is the whole problem right there. It's not the kids, it's the parents. The parents is what the problem is. Because they haven't set a foundation, there's no discipline, there's nothing involved there. So the kids know ain't nothing gonna happen to me. But then when they get into the lives of the authorities, and I told you I got the kid now that's up for murder that I talked to when he was a freshman. He got in trouble at the school for smoking weed, and the mother come to the school, and I wasn't there, but I'm hearing this from other administrators that she said, "What's wrong with smoking weed?" Well, now he's up for murder charges. That's what the hell is wrong with smoking weed.
Wow.
Because that weed gave him the thing to think he's a damn man and that he's a street dude. And now he's paying dearly. You are paying dearly because what's wrong with smoking weed? What's wrong with cussing? Cussing takes it to another level. Now that goes to the level where you talking about, Chester. Because I don't care who you are. If somebody's cursing you, that's putting you down to a point till you get sick of it. Now I got to do something about it because now you cussing me in front of my boys, my friends, whatever you want to call them. Now that's where you at. Now you got to prove yourself.
Hey, Chester, Suffolk is 107,000 people.
107,000.
Yeah.
They lost it somewhere, man. I don't know.
Okay, man, that and like I said, we've been talking about it the whole time. It's that home life, man. I mean, listen, I told mine like real young. I'm not with that beating on, hitting on each other and all that. He hit me, she hit me.
Yeah.
I wasn't with it. I'm beating everybody because I can't see through walls. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna get touched up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you come to me, trust and believe, everybody getting touched up.
Yeah. I was sitting with my wife, man, today we was watching y'all know who Laura Lake is?
Yeah.
Oh.
The judge, yeah.
Yeah. Had a young lady on there, man. Had two brothers trying to figure out who the daddy was of that one baby. And she got one in her stomach, two that they didn't know. A total of I think it was 8 kids, man. This young lady had. And she got two brothers on the stand now trying to figure out who the hell the daddy is of one of them. You know.
Were they
It's
like
crazy.
related brothers?
No.
Oh,
No, you know,
okay. I
two,
thought they
you
was
know.
like she was
Mm-mm.
okay. All right.
They do that too, Rodney.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like I said, man, I don't know, man. Something happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But look, it's 9:45. I'm a I'm gonna get my last one in now, then I'm gonna go around. But y'all, if I figured out a way you can get away with murder, man, if you got somebody you want to get rid of. And I'm gonna go to Bobby. Bobby, let's say if you got one of them, you know you're single man now, but if you got one hanging on, you need to get rid of her. Take her to the Bahamas, man. Go on a boat ride and toss her ass out in the water and say that she took the key and just jumped off the damn boat. Okay. Or bury her, bury her somewhere inland and still tell that same story. I think you can get off.
But
I did see that, right?
you
You
gotta
can
have,
if you white.
Hmm?
You can if you white.
hey, and
Yeah.
then you gotta, and then you leave and say, you don't know where she at.
That's what
Right.
I'm saying. I
Yeah.
guess without a body, it's no proof, right?
Or
What do you
you
think,
can
Ron? Ron, I
right?
see you. What do you think?
You said she jumped off the boat to get
Well,
the
he said
the
it. Did
device
you
that fell in the water, right?
see that?
Yeah, I
Did
Yeah.
saw
you see that, Ron?
No.
Oh, yeah. Well, the white. It was a white dude. Well,
And
tell the
black,
story, Rod. I'm gonna let
she was
Rod tell
black,
that
right?
story.
Oh yeah, he took his wife to the Bahamas, and
She
even
was black, right?
the
Mm-mm.
daughter of the mother. That's not her father. He said he did something to my mother. She believed he did something. She said they had a you know one of those kind of relationships where there was always a lot of fuss and fighting and arguing, and she believed that he killed her mother. So the people in the Bahamas, they locked him up for a couple of days, and they say, well, we don't have any evidence with nobody. I'm sure the sharks out in the water and probably done finished what was left of her,
Mm-hmm.
and they let him go.
Yeah, but he
He's back
said
in
that
the
Charge.
States now, living a life. He's probably
yeah,
cashing in insurance policies by now.
exactly what I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
So if you got one that's getting on your nerves, man, go ahead and take on the trip.
Man, I'm good,
You
bro.
know, you know.
I'm good.
Or they
I'm
had a
good.
couple
Ron,
of
you
them
single
pushed
man
off the
now, aren't you?
sides of a cruise
Yeah.
ship too.
Yeah. Well,
So
there you go,
Nah,
Ron.
I'm good, bro.
I know how it goes sometime. Get one to start getting on your nerves, man. Look, let's take a
Look,
let's
look,
take a
I'm gonna
trip and
pack
straighten
my
this
bag.
thing
I'm
out.
gonna pack my bags. I ain't.
don't even say that wrong, my wife. I'm in the Philippines right now. I already disappeared.
Yeah, but yeah, man. But but that's what I got, man. I'm just gonna end on that note, man. But I'm gonna come on around, Bobby. Go ahead, man. Get your last bite, man.
Man, I ain't got much tonight, man. I appreciate the night because a lot of things that we spoke about tonight is things that I've been talking to the kids about definitely the last 2 weeks because, like I said, we've been talking about this woman suffrage thing and voting rights, and I've been talking to them a little bit about voting. I won't get too big into politics because I know these kids have families and their families are on this side and this side. So I don't get deep into the political thing, but I do tell them stuff like I would say, listen, I don't care who you believe in or what you believe or whatever. If somebody tells you something and it don't sound right, so this is what I did. Let me say this real quick. This is what I did. So I told the kids, I said, what's the difference between Alaska and Hawaii? But he's like, well, the weather and this, that, and the other. I said, well, you can't drive to either one of them, can you? And the kid was like, yes, you can. You can drive to Alaska.
Mm,
I was like, you sure about that? But they did what I actually wanted them to do, and that was to research it. And I
mm,
said, you did exactly what I wanted you to do because I don't want you to just believe somebody just because they say it.
mm,
Right.
Right. Sometimes you got to say, okay, yeah, I let people talk and you go research it, find it out for yourself. I said, don't believe somebody just because they say it and they are of authority or you believe in them or whatever,
mm,
and so that's kind of where I am right now, trying to get them to say, look, think for yourself because we are in a society now with this dude that's 1600 and the people that follow behind him, they're only following behind him because they know it's wrong, but
mm,
they don't want to deal with the situation of telling him that they're wrong or that he's wrong or whatever for some reason. Don't care. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, man. Just trying to get people to understand you got to think for yourself.
yeah. Tell them about your award, Bobby, that you
Oh,
killed.
so So they have teacher appreciation awards. And you guys know I'm just a long-term substitute, right? But I'm there like a regular teacher. So anyway, um, I get an email, and the email's like, yeah, you've been picked to as a for appreciation. And so I'm like, who did this? Like, I'm like, nah. So there's another teacher there named Jones. So I'm saying, well, maybe she got me mixed up when she was doing the email. So then another email pop up, boom. Since you don't have a mailbox, I gotta send it to you through email. So I get it. And the young lady that sent it to me, it was cool because she's like, Mr. Jones, you know, you give us what we want in the classroom as a teacher, but you also teach us stuff that can carry us through life. And I was like, wow. And I told him, I like, listen, I don't care what's going on, I'm gonna be there for you. So you just go to the game or whatever. She played soccer. So you go to the game and you walk across the field and they announce who's who who nominated you for it or whatever. And it was real cool. But yeah, it was a young white lady. I didn't expect it. But
Mm.
yeah. So
So you want to be recognized at this soccer game. The kids nominated you to be recognized, and you're going to be chaperoned and
yeah, we did
walk
it
across the field.
we did it Monday. It
Okay, you
happened
did it.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good stuff. Okay, Ron, what you got, man?
So I was having this conversation with some people, and I don't really think they felt what I was saying. I was helping. I was telling them, I said, we do a lot of things to support Bobby at the American Legion, in his endeavor to be in whatever. He's the commander, he's the vice, whatever. So I was talking with them, and I said, let me ask you a question. I said, you a member, you pay your dues. Yeah, I've been a member for 30 years. How many different committees or office have you ran for in those 30 years? None. So I said, you don't think it's strange that you pay $50 every year to be a member of an organization that you don't give anything to the organization. You don't bring anything to the organization. You just pay your money. I said, does that sound strange to you? They was looking at me, I was like, well, I'll take the $50. I mean, if that's what you want to do with it. But when you guys were talking earlier about community, a lot of our community, a lot of our folks, we don't have those folks anymore. Folks are so selfish now that, they don't take care of the community like they used to. You know, I've always been the type of person that if I know somebody that can fix something at your house, cut your grass or whatever, I'm going to tell you about that person because I'm trying to help that person stay on the right side, and build up what they building. But it just struck me that people don't understand when you become a member of an organization, you have to take some type of leadership role. You just can't sit back and bitch about this and that. And so, what are you bringing to the table? Why don't you, and I said something to them and they looked at me and said, I've always been told be the change that you want to see. Right. So I said, why don't you do that? Why don't you run for the treasurer, whatever, sergeant of arms? I said, so your time is valuable. The folks that you're criticizing, their time is valuable.
Right.
So I said, so what's the end game? And he just kind of looked at me. I was like, I just wanted to know, that. But I was thinking about that. I was like, these people have been paying $30, $50 or whatever the fee is for all these years, and they don't have no responsibility. The things that they expect from the organization are the weeds. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And they have an opportunity to affect the whole community, because I've always been a believer that if I'm going to join an organization, I'm going to take some type of active role.
Right.
And even, we do a lot of things. We attempt to do a lot of things in the community with the fraternity. And every time I do voter registration, I get disappointed. You would be surprised how many damn stories you hear about why I'm not registered to vote. I don't vote. So you like what's going on in the country, right? No, I'm like, okay. So do you realize what people came before you had to do to give you the right to vote?
Right.
You want respect? I say you want respect. You want people to respect you, or you're not respecting others. And I just find it strange that a lot of the fabric of the country, when we're talking about, how ministers used to minister, outside of the church and in the community as well, it's just a different mindset nowadays. And I constantly have to remind myself, I call myself a Renaissance man because I'm from another century. I'm from the 20th century. You know what I mean? We're in the 21st century.
Right.
So I got to start thinking like they do. Because thinking about the way we came up and how we did it, that's gone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Yeah.
So you gotta adjust your thinking to meet the moment. You know what I mean? And I find myself all the time saying, "Yo, you gotta remember, man, you're in another century."
Yeah.
And they don't think like that. Some of these folks that are walking around, some of these things that we're talking about right now, to them, it's so far removed, like it happened 2,000 years ago. They have no sense of history and the value of history, because I always correct people when they tell me history repeats itself. No, fool, history already happened. It can't repeat itself. People repeat what they know or heard, and sometimes, I find myself, sometimes I say, just shut the hell up. Because folks don't want to get into those kind of conversations with you. Because now you're attempting to make me look bad because, I get that, oh, you went to college. I didn't go to college. It ain't got shit to do with it. It's common sense. So when you talk about things that happen in the school, I mean, you ask folks, how many of you go to the PTA meetings? Are you a member of the PTA? You go to the events after school? Do you see what's going on at the school? No. And a lot of folks do think that the schools are supposed to raise their children. And it is the school's fault that they got bad damn kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's all because, we are Renaissance men. And that's my burn for this evening.
Yeah. Bob, are they having PTAs?
Yeah, they got all that. Yeah, all that.
Are the parents showing up?
Man, the parents don't show up for their kids can be the worst kids in the classroom. And they got every matter of fact, it'll be coming up in 2 weeks where the parents come in and it's almost into school to check on the grades, what their kid need to do to do better. And they got to do it by appointment. They don't even make no damn appointment. You go in there, you look at your list, and there's no school that day. So from 7:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you might have 2 parents coming in. And those are the parents whose kids got straight A's.
Wow. Mercy.
I got a kid right now, I got a 14 average.
Jesus Christ. They just passing them on now, or they keeping them back, man? They just send them on through.
That Nancy Reagan thing still stick around. No child left behind.
Yeah. Wow. Brother Gunn, what you got, man?
Well, I apologize if I misunderstood that previous conversation.
No, ain't no apology. Ain't no apology needed, man.
Bro, we talk, bro. It's good.
I get it, but I just wanted to say that I commend anybody that's working to better their community. And Bobby, I really commend you for being in that classroom. Because
It's
I have
tough, bro.
educators in my family, and I hear the stories.
It's tough, bro.
I know it is. It's a jungle. And I applaud all teachers and administrators for being there. I got a friend of mine, he's like 75 years old, and he still substitute teaches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you, Bobby, it ain't because he got to. He don't need the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he want to. He want to try to help these young kids. You know, back in the 70s, 80s, when we started seeing a whole lot of kids having babies, you know, Big Mama used to be 60, 70 years old. Now Big Mama is 40 years old.
Ooh, ain't that the truth?
And that's what's killing us. You
Big
know?
Mama still hanging out in the club.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they
Happy hour.
and our people, we always been the underdog, but we didn't. It seems like now we done bought into that. Instead of striving to be better, we just apathetic. You know, we go along to get along. Hopefully it'll change, but I probably won't see it in my lifetime. But that's about all I have.
What you think a fix is?
It's got to come from within. I mean, our people have got to, we got to step up. You know, back when I was growing up, everybody, you know, we had Martin Luther King, we had Malcolm X, we had Jesse Jackson, we had a whole lot of community leaders. You don't see that anymore. I mean, I think the internet and all that has taken the place of all the hands-on people in the face. Just don't happen anymore. I don't know why, but it just doesn't.
And I think, like Smitty was saying, that you know, families are kind of spread out now too. You know.
Yeah, that too. Because I'm like Smitty. I mean, I got 10 grandkids, and none of them live where I live.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I blame that on me joining the Air Force, and we got spread out, and the kids, you know, they go to school or whatever, and wherever they go to a city, they like that city, that's where they stay. You know, like my daughter, she got married and she moved to Atlanta, and she lives in Atlanta now, or the Atlanta area.
Yeah.
But it's none of that where we can all get together like this Sunday and say, hey, I want everybody at my house.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. And that's even with my siblings. None of my siblings live where I live. Because all of them were associated with the military, and we landed at different places, and that's where we stayed.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So that nucleus, you know, I'm the oldest, so you would think I would be the patriarch. But the patriarch lives in Suffolk, Virginia. And all his, I got a sibling that lives up in Waldorf. I mean, I got a sibling that lives in Waldorf. I got one that lives in Atlanta. And I got one that lives in Charlotte. Kind of hard for us to get together at the drop of a hat.
Y'all talk? Do you talk?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We don't have none of that in my family.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
We all talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ain't having none of that.
Like I said, this internet thing, man, is you know, it's there, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron, no, he's met all my siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. Ron, one of my siblings. Shoot.
Y'all do kind of favor, man.
You know that's right, man.
Y'all do kind of favor. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Ron's my man.
Yeah. You clear?
I'm clear.
Smitty, what you got, man?
Man, I'm just glad.
But first, before you start, Smitty, I saw a young lady come up in the picture there. That's one of your grandbabies.
One of my grandbabies from over in the Philippines. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 4.5, going on 10, and she gets everywhere all at once. So
okay.
if I'm somewhere in the area, I'm actually outside on my patio. And so she won't come out and find out where I am. So she definitely got to sit down and see what I'm doing. So that was what it's all about.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just glad to be reconnected. Like I said, I'm just back from a 4-day trip to Thailand. Had a good time, relaxing. So it's good to get back in the groove and do my thing. But yeah, other than that, just great conversation. Like I said, family is important. The internet can be a blessing and a curse. Like I said, I try to reach out to my grandkids who want to be connected via, you can do face to face. You can have those conversations. I try to do that as much as possible, so that we can, like I said, I got one grandson. He just recently turned 21. He got his certification for being an electrician. Got his first real job. So I spent like an hour yesterday. We was going over all the facts. Even, do you know what FICA is? We went through the whole list of things, but we still, as parents, as grandparents, have to do that with our own family first. So you talk about where we start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We start with our own family. I got a nephew, like I said, he 50-some years old, right? Suddenly want to be an actor, right? So every time I get something about acting, I try to send it to him so we can sit down and talk about whatever it is that they're interested in. And that's kind of how you get your inroads, is by finding out, first of all, what is your interest, and we can see if we can talk about it. A lot of times I do some research to talk about it, but at least we'll have some background on it. That's a good place to start. And then they get that trust, and then we can branch out into other things that you're doing. So that's my take on how I do it. That's my approach anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, I'm just sitting here. It's about to be 90 degrees. And,
stop it, Smitty. Stop it.
All right, man. Go to the next person. Nobody wants to hear
Stop.
Miss Sealy.
Joke always got to blow the party up.
Yeah, right.
You clear, Smitty?
I'm clear.
All right.
I'm gonna tell my man, don't cut your damn grass.
Yeah, what I got is something that's been on my mind all week, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. The guy that went down in Louisiana, killed his kids, killed his wife. I mean, what we have never found an answer to the gun violence in this country, and it's just not black people killing black people. It's white kids going shooting up schools. They're going and shooting up churches. They're shooting up everything that's out there. And I don't have an answer to it. I know most people that own guns are responsible. I own weapons. I'm responsible. But some of this shit that goes on is mind-boggling. I don't know what drives a man to that much level of hate, or even a woman, that they will go and just, kill a bunch of people. Sometimes they'll take themselves out. Sometimes, they don't. They just, all right, I killed 14 people, and it's like it's nothing.
Yeah.
I know we live in a country where we have more guns than people, and that's a problem right there. I know another reason why we have so many guns, because we wouldn't have an America without guns. I mean, it was Native Americans here. Well, they didn't have guns. They had bows and arrows. So, we couldn't have had slavery for 240 years without guns. So this country's never going to give them up, but they don't do anything about the violence, and it only gets worse. And they won't even try to, all right, well, let's take some of this shit off the street. Like, there's no reason for the average citizen to have a rifle that can hit a flea on a dog's ass 300 yards away. And that's my opinion. A lot of people think different. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are responsible gun owners. But, I mean, when I just saw the news the other day and I saw a father killed 7 of his 8 kids and then killed his, this shit is just out of hand, brother. I don't know. Like I said, I've seen a lot of violence being a police officer. I've seen homicides. I've seen murders. A lot of it was drug related. But a lot of this stuff ain't no more. It's not, okay, it's just a couple of guys dealing drugs. It's not that anymore. It's just people just killing, just seem like for the hell of it, man. And, I don't have an answer to it, but nobody seems to want to have an answer or get an answer. Or, they can blame it on mental illness, but some of these people ain't crazy, man. They just evil, brother. They just evil.
Yeah.
And then you got this, the dude in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's feeling a lot of it on. I mean, all these folks that went down there with the resurrection, that the insurrection they was going to overturn. Oh, they came on. And they ain't gonna tell you that, but I can guarantee you almost all of them came armed. So, I guess if they hadn't made him call off the dogs, it wouldn't have been the Congress, because they just took all of them out after they finished killing all the Capitol Police. But that's where we are, brother. That's where we are.
Yeah.
And it bothers me when we do it to ourselves, because but they've been doing it before. Like I tell everybody, before there was ever any black on black crime in America, there was white on black crime in America. So I guess we just decided to join in with it. I don't know, but it hurts me as a person. It hurts me as a black man, and I don't have an answer for it. But we don't seem to have an answer either. Nobody's trying to fix it. So that's my sleep for the night, and I go home and sleep and pray on it. And it is what it is.
Yeah. Smitty, what's the gun laws over there where you are, man?
You normally, traditionally, you can't have a gun over there.
Cannot.
There are people, of course, you got your thugs. There's people out here with guns, but it's not prevalent. There are some. I've seen people shot here in the Philippines. It happens.
Okay.
Traditionally, the military and the police have a lot of guns, and of course, you got a few of your resident gangsters that have guns. But for the most part, it's not. They talk about crime in the Philippines, but I'm safer here than I'm in a lot of places.
That's all I'm asking. Yeah, you feel pretty safe.
Yeah, unless you out here doing dirt. You like I always said, I've been coming in and out of the Philippines for over 40 years. I said, ain't nobody in the Philippines got killed by accident. Like I said, you got killed in the Philippines, you was doing something you wasn't supposed to do.
Okay. Colonel John, wrap it up, man.
All right. Wow. Violence. I happened to stumble across some TV channels this past week, and all I saw was violence on it. And the question that went through my mind was, when I was growing up, we saw cowboy pictures. And Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and Hopalong Cassidy and the Lone Ranger, and all we saw was violence. A little bit of John Dillinger, Machine Gun Kelly, all this stuff. Then you got the Godfather and all that. But now I go and look on television and all I see is violence. And I say, how do you expect young people not to think that violence solves anything when all they see, if they go to these channels, most of what they see is violence, some kind of violence. And then today, before I came on a few hours ago, a guy was talking about Vietnam, and he put a thing on about My Lai, what happened at My Lai, how people in a group can become violent. And I shared with him what my first cousin, who was a Marine squad leader in Vietnam, told me about the Marines. And I've always said that he said as a Marine, he was trained to be a killer, to kill on command. And I shared with them, if you've been to combat, you're a changed person when you come back. But for me, the biggest thing that's been on my mind this whole week is how ineffective the news has been. And really, it's a knock on religious people, because they've talked about blessed are the peacemakers. But that's not the whole quote that the teacher said. The teacher said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. But we haven't had that reported, because the question which would come up to most people would be, how can we call ourselves children of God, which we are claiming to be, when we're not peacemakers? We start an unprovoked war. You see, this is a question that we ought to be asking. All of these people who claim to be Christian nationalists and all that, and talking about war. Didn't the teacher tell you, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God? But all we hear is, blessed are the peacemakers.
When the Pope says it, you want to get mad.
Yeah. I would say the Pope, I wish the Pope had gone and said the whole thing. For they shall be called the children of God. How can you call yourself a child of God when you're advocating war and have a Department of War?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So that's what's been on this old, and I somebody called me elder today. I said, no, I'm just an old fart in the neighborhood, just old man. But that's what bothers me. We need, when we talk about this stuff, let's talk about what the teacher really told us. Let's say the whole thing that the teacher said. When we think about kids, we talked about kids and educating them. We ought to be telling parents, suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. And how can a child know God when we treat them in an ungodly manner?
Yeah.
You're talking about, we have, our elders knew these things. Our elders communicated these things. In 12 years as a slave, there's a scene where a slave woman is crying because her baby is being sold and taken away from her, and she's crying, begging the mistress to allow her to keep the baby. And the mistress tells the driver, go on, she'll forget about this after a while. I took my wife to see that movie. She will not even, if you mention that movie or her book, she's mad. She'll never see that. She said, how can you separate a child from their mother and call that an act that the teacher would tell us to do? Yet this country, under the first administration of Trump, separated children from parents. How can they know God when you do something like that? Suffer little children and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Children are our future. They are more precious than all of us in here. And that's why I say, if we're going to put this in the news, blessed are the peacemakers, put the whole thing so the children will know. Right. If you make peace, you will be called a child of God. And that's all I have.
All right. Gentlemen, I appreciate y'all guys coming out, man, and hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
All right, brothers.
All right. Have a good night.
God willing.
All right.
Thank you.